What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be going over every single pre-purchase automation flow that you need in order to increase your customer acquisition cost to lifetime value ratio. So without further ado, let's hop in it. We got to understand the customer journey first. So let's get to that if my computer will allow me. Sweet. So when a visitor arrives on your site from a paid ad or organically through your socials or SEO, there are 4 chances for them to leave your site. So they can just go on your site and be like, oh, I'm going to leave now. They can browse and look at a product and then they'll leave the site. They can add to cart and then they will abandon that cart and then they'll leave the site. They can add to the checkout and guess what? They'll still maybe leave the site. But when you optimize your visitor's pre-purchase journey with email automations, you create a defense towards each possible scenario that they don't purchase. So it's somewhat like Gary Payton. You install a Gary Payton system into your pre-purchase journey. So if someone visits your site but they plan on leaving, you're okay because they signed up to your opt-in and now you have their email and SMS to send them the welcome series. Someone looks at a item they like or don't like and they leave the site, guess what? Now they have the abandoned browse. They add the cart, same thing, abandoned cart flow. They add the checkout, abandoned checkout flow. So now let's dive into each of the 3 systems that you need to optimize your brand's pre-purchase journey. So the opt-in, the welcome series, and each and every single abandoned flow. First off, we have the opt-in form, and this is highly important to nail down as it's going to convert 6 to 13% of your site's visitors into newsletter subscribers, of which you'll be able to send them through the welcome series and also future campaigns. So this is how you build it, but just a quick note before we get into that, you must create 2 different opt-ins. So one for mobile and one for desktop, as they both have different behavioral results. As a customer on mobile is going to have a smaller screen and someone on desktop is going to have a bigger screen. So you need to make sure they're both optimized. So number 1, you must initiate an offer. So create a welcome offer that incentivizes your new audience to create their first purchase. So this can be a percentage off, $1 off, free shipping. It can be a free gift even. So you want to make sure you nail that down. And you also want to make sure you test these to find out which offer works best for your brand. And then if you're doing SMS, consider whether or not an increased incentive to sign up for text is necessary. So if they sign up for text, are they going to get 5% more off? Or are they going to get $5 more off? So see if that's something that your brand wants to do. I highly recommend it just because you're going to get more SMS subscribers that way. Next, you want to create triggers. So what will make the opt-in appear for the visitor? You can choose from time spent on page, percentage of the site scrolled when a visitor exits the page, and or a certain number of pages are looked at. I definitely recommend starting with time spent and then testing from there. Formatting, choose if your opt-in is a pop-up or if it's full screen. Pop-up only takes a part of the user screen and the full screen is the full screen. So you also want to make sure you test these as well. Copy, so you want to use as little copy as possible in your pop-up. So for example, in the header, you want to keep it super simple so your visitor sees the incentive, the form to submit the header, or the form to submit their email or SMS, and then a call to action button to submit. And then in that call to action, you want to word it to make it seem super easy to click the button to claim the incentive. So claim my discount, something simple like that. Next, you want to create the pop-up design. So now the creativity begins. Design your opt-in based on different winners from various companies in your niche while also matching your branding. So do you want to have an image or do you not want to have an image? Do you want a GIF? Do you not want to have a GIF? What kind of colors? You want to make sure they're contrasting from your site's main color. So those are all things to consider when going ahead and designing your pop-up. Next is the testing. So every 2 weeks, create an A/B test of either your offers, your triggers, your formatting, your design, or your copy. So this way you can just get higher and higher conversion rates. Because who doesn't like that? Now we have the welcome series. So the purpose of this is to convert new newsletter subscribers into first-time purchasers, and the trigger on this is when someone opts into the newsletter through the opt-in form. So here's exactly how to build it. Number 1, you want to make a perfect welcome email. So this is going to be your highest performing email in all of your Klaviyo account because it is an email that almost everyone gets. So you must make it perfect while also keeping it very simple. I recommend following the 3-step email structure of the hero, the bio, and the showcase. So in the hero, it's the image, the header, incentive, and call to action. And then in bio, it's 2 to 3 sentences on what makes your brand great, trustable, and well respected. And then the last is the showcase, which is where you display best sellers, top collections, and then simply just product USPs. Number 2, you want to resend email number 1 to non-openers. So create a conditional that funnels anyone who didn't open the first email after a day into receiving the first email again, but just with a different subject line. Then number 3, so you want to create 6+ other emails. Now, this is where you show what makes your brand stand out, your brand's backstory, your brand's mission, and anything under the sun that could get them to trust your brand. You also want to showcase different top selling collections of your brand, but you don't want to be super salesy. You want to nurture them into creating a purchase, not telling them to create a purchase. And with these emails, you want to make sure to space each email 1 to 3 days apart. You want to be sure to test these times as well. If you see what I'm saying, you want to be testing everything. So here are some email ideas on what you can do. So number 1, the brand story. Number 2, a team showcase, showcasing your brand or your brand's team. Number 3, your brand's mission. Number 4, the best sellers of the season. So the best sellers of the fall, best sellers of summer. And then number 5, a USP showcase showing something unique about your product or your brand. Number 3, the hit the like and hit the like and subscribe button. You're going to get a really high return on investment because it is free to subscribe, and you're going to be getting a lot more free email marketing sauce. So you might as well. Next, we have the abandoned site flow, and the purpose of this flow is to convert people who have simply only been on your site back to your site and to viewing products. So the trigger on this is when someone simply has just been on your site, they haven't viewed a product, they haven't added to cart, they haven't added to checkout, but they went on your site and left. And the length of this flow is literally just 1 email unless the open rate is above 40%. And inside of this email, you want to treat it as somewhat of your brand's landing page and replicate what's already there. So start the email off with some punchy copy that showcases who your brand is. Keep this concise, and also don't use language like "we saw you on our site," because guess what? That is creepy, and people will click out of this email and they will probably block you and report you as spam because it's creepy. Don't do that. So here is an example section structure of your abandoned site. So hero section, best sellers, social proof, the mid sellers, and then finally just a generic footer. Next, we have the abandoned browse flow, and the purpose of this flow is to convert people who looked at a product page to start their cart. The length of this flow should be 4+ emails, and inside of it, you should remind your customers of what they were looking at, and then follow that with a similar product showcase while also building brand trust. These people more than likely weren't intending on buying, so you want to be slightly more aggressive in showing who your brand is and what your brand's all about. You also want to include an incentive for those who don't purchase at the end of the flow, because again, these are people who just don't really intend on purchasing, so an incentive might make them intend on purchasing. Some examples of emails to send within this flow. So the best sellers of the current season, you'll like these, so recommending different products based on the product you're reviewing, a note from the founder based on the brand mission, and then reviews with the angle of your brand being great / unique things about your brand. So these reviews should not talk about specific products, because again, you want to build information and trust within your brand, not necessarily a product right now. Next, we have the abandoned cart flow, and the purpose of this is to convert people who added to their cart to simply start their checkout. The length of this flow should be 5+ emails, and inside you want to remind your potential customer that they left items in their cart. Then you want to go into objection handling mode by proving your brand's products are better than competitors and that your brand is highly trustable. These customers are a little more hesitant about ordering, so you need to push a little more than other flows. So they're really close to purchasing. They made it to the cart, but they haven't started their checkout. So here are some ideas to include to convince them to go ahead with you guys. So us versus them. So this one, you want to be USP focused on what makes your products different than your competitors' products. You want to showcase your number 1 USPs of your products. So what makes your products really, really unique and really special? What benefits do they give? You want to include a social proof email catered towards the product quality. And then you want a note from the founder on unique offerings that the product gives, and also an incentive email that gives them a further incentive to go ahead and make the purchase. This one you want to keep a little more in the beginning of the flow. So email 2 or 3 is where you introduce the incentive here. Finally, we have the abandoned checkout flow, the last and final abandoned flow. And the purpose of this one is to convert people who started their checkout into becoming customers. And the length of this should be 5+ emails. And inside, you're not going to believe what I'm going to say, but you're going to want to remind your potential customer of what they left inside your checkout. I know, very similar to the abandoned cart, but the objections that we want to handle are a little different. So the objection of perceived value should be handled, which creates expectations of what the customer's experience will be with your product in hand. These customers only require a slight push as they're just a few clicks away from purchasing. So here are some examples of emails to include. So you want a social proof email, cater towards product benefit. You want a problem versus solution. So you want to introduce a problem that your ICP is having, offer a solution, and then offer your product as that solution. A note from the founder on the problem they wanted to solve. So this one you can get personal. So say the founder couldn't find cookies they liked. So they went ahead and made cookies that are better than anyone else's and tasty and long lasting and delicious, really chocolatey. And then you want a us versus them email. And then this one is benefit focused. So this one is where you showcase your brand's benefits opposed to competitors' benefits, and not necessarily what's different about the products themselves and the features, but what the customer is about to experience. And then, a little quick video plug. I did post this recently, the abandoned checkout flow guide. This just goes over the whole abandoned checkout flow and how to build it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the free pre-purchase journey guide that you need in order to make sure that in your pre-purchase journey, you have all your defenses set up. So just to recap, you want to build it and opt-in, you want a welcome series, you want an abandoned site, you want an abandoned browse, you want an abandoned cart, and you want an abandoned checkout, and you want to also be testing each and every single aspects of all these flows, from subject lines to call to actions to send times to all that jazz, to copy, to design, everything to make sure that your emails are optimized as possible. If you found this valuable, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I can't wait for you to see even more email marketing sauce coming very soon. Have a good one.